the last firm you were with, you kind of went through this rapid growth process, right? And you talk about wearing multiple hats. I think that a lot of our listeners and people that view this understand that one. I think we all do it at one point or another in our careers. How did you handle the change when you started bringing in more SMEs and experts? How did you guys really handle doing that scale up and scale out? You go from founders into then having teams operate. How did that transition work for you? And how are you guys planning on doing it now, if you don't mind sharing a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. And it was a true learning process at Brighter Vision, the firm that I was at for 5 years now. We had our share of struggles along the way. Hiring is tough. Building out teams is tough. What we found over time, though, is you have to be very practical and you have to be very mindful of your culture as you build up these teams. Your culture can't just be something that you think exists. You need to formally write it down. You need to talk about what your values are. You need to talk about what the expectations are and have everybody be on board with the mission and share the mission of the company long term. Because if you don't, you're going to get people on teams and within the organization who aren't aligned with that overall vision, and the culture creates itself, sometimes in a negative way. So a big part of what we're doing at Motion.io is from day one being very, very intentional about the culture that we create. And it might even seem silly, but we have already created a culture doc for our organization. Our CEO, Perry, has put together this phenomenal doc that talks about what our values are. A big part of our values, especially as a startup, is making sure that people know that they can take risks. And as long as they are taking risks and they are doing things that align with the mission that we're working to, even if things don't work out, if somebody does a marketing initiative or they release a feature that just doesn't create any value, that doesn't matter. As long as they were doing that with the intentions that fall in line with the culture and the organization that we're building, that's good with us. So a lot of those lessons were from Brighter Vision we are taking into what we're doing at Motion.io as we scale up.
I love that. Being intentional, clearly communicating. And that last piece, I just have to say, some of the same values that I try to push with our teams, that bias for action and that constantly make the change, stay within the values, right? But go ahead and try it. And if you fail, that's okay. We've learned something that doesn't work. Let's adjust it and let's find that right path forward. Love that approach.